من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين مولانا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كل نفس ذائقة الموت. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. My brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this volume 2, part number 39, we shall now discuss the rules of burial. We've already escorted the dead body, carried it right up to the grave, and now there are certain rules which are obligatory and certain things which are recommended, and we need to respect and honor those things. And we have to follow the system of burial and what things are necessary to be performed at a time. The first thing is that the grave should be dug in such a way or in such a depth, it should be so deep that the smell of the body does not come out. Nor should the wild animal be able to dig it up and eat part of the body. So it's very important that this grave has to be deep enough. And for that, generally, it has been noticed or it has been seen that the depth of 6 feet is good enough. Okay? And once we have that kind of a depth, we are safe that the body is not going to be attacked, nor will the body smell come out. However, if there is danger that the body will still be dug by the predators, by the wild animals, despite burying deep, then the requirement is that we have to build bricks around it. We have to concrete it if necessary. Then we have to ensure that the top is concreted or the top is protected in a way that nobody can dig the grave and eat up those parts of the body. Now, if, for example, it is not possible that you get such a land where you bury a body and it is still protected, then it is allowed to keep the body in a coffin in a building and leave it there. Close a room, certain room, keep it in a coffin, forget about it. In such a way, you can build a grave inside a building. If there is no possibility, especially in a war-torn area, where if there is that fear, this body is going to be mutilated. Or if there are people who are going to cut pieces of this body, and there are places now we see these things. Before 10, 15 years ago, we would not be thinking, but if you see there are people who are going to dig the grave and cut the pieces, then it is a must that you tie the body, put it in a barrel, and lower it in the ocean. Get the body into a barrel, in a coffin, and lower it into the ocean instead of burying it into the grave. Imagine. This is the state human beings have reached. Or you can just put a weight attached to the body so that it can be sunk into the ocean, but bury it in such a place that it does not become easy food for the fish. Now that is something you have to select. Now, this is very serious. I can see, or we can all see things, terrible things, horrible things, horrific that are happening all around the world. So this is important that, like the Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam had laid down rules of war, that the women should be respected, the children should be respected, the elderly should be respected, they should not be damaged, they should not be hurt, and their bodies should be respected. The body should not be mutilated. Unfortunately, the same Muslims, the same Ummah did exactly opposite on the plains of Karbala. and they mutilated each and every body. So even the dead has to be respected as good as the life. Probably the dead has to be respected much more. And it should be given a very honorable farewell. If somebody dies in a ship, going in a cruise, these days it has become quite common, it's a fashion in the West. Many of us also from the East would want to go on a cruise, fine. Malakul Maut comes, he doesn't have, hodi, that wait boss, you're on a cruise, you go back, you die in a cruise, now what do you do? So then the requirement is that the body should be shrouded, ghusl given, hunut given, camphoration being done, the kafan is given, shrouded, everything finished. Keep it there in the cruise or in the ship if there is no danger of rotting, and then when you reach land, bury it. But if there is danger, it's going to rot here, decompose here, and there are no facilities to preserve the body, then again, like we said about the body being mutilated, in this case also, put it in a barrel, lower it in the ocean. So cruise on the sea, when you die, cruise under the sea. So it has to be buried, or rather lowered into the sea and left there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Right. If a disbelieving mother, the father of the child is a believer, and the mother is a disbeliever, and she, for example, dies and the baby inside it is also dead, she's pregnant and both of them die. Now what? How do we bury? It is required that the mother should be laid in such a way that the back should be facing Qibla, and the front of the child will be facing Qibla. So the way we bury, it should be opposite. And to bury a mu'min, to bury a Muslim, it is compulsory. Compulsory, this is not mustahab. Any fiqh, any madhab of the Muslim beliefs, all the madhab, Shafi, Hanafi, Hanbali, all of them believe in this, that the front of the body should be facing Qibla when it is buried. So the body is never buried lying flat on the back. The body is normally buried lying on the right, where the front of the body is facing Qibla. This is compulsory. This is not out of recommendations. It is a must that we bury the body in such a way that the front is facing Qibla. Now, a disbeliever can never be, it is not permitted, not can never, it is not permitted to bury a disbeliever in a believer's graveyard. Nor should a believer be buried in a disbeliever's graveyard. It is not permitted at all. Circumstances prevail and it is not possible. Those are other things. But as much as possible, if somebody has died in a Buddhist land, in a Hindu land, in a place where there are Muslims, graveyard is not available, then it is a must that that body has to be transported to the nearest graveyard of a Muslim and buried in a Muslim graveyard. Similarly, if there are graveyards whereby people do not frequent, let's say a graveyard which is very far, but people frequent that graveyard, then it is better that the person is buried in that graveyard where people go and recite Fatiha, and avoid or refrain from burying somebody in the graveyard which is close by. Better to bury in the graveyard which is far away. At least he will get the recitation of Fatiha and the thawab of that Fatiha will reach him. Right. Somebody wills and says, no, I die, I want to be buried in the compound of the mosque. He has been frequenting the mosque here, and this mosque he loves so much, so there is space here, I want to bury it. It's not allowed. We cannot bury a body in an area which is waqf, which is endowed. Imam Bargah plots, mosque plots, or a hall, or a place which is for public use, for Islamic purposes, which has been especially endowed for such purposes. Any waqf that is being given and we want to bury in that waqf land, not allowed. It is not permitted to bury in those places at all. even if there is no inconvenience to the community, even if nobody is getting inconvenience to come to the mosque, or nobody is hurt, or nobody is complaining, even then it is not permitted to bury a body in a waqf area. We shall stop here inshallah and continue from tomorrow. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.